Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Robert's Workshop again. Today we're going to do a custom clock, wall clock. And what we're going to use is the tops of Jack Daniel's whiskey barrels. I picked these up in Tennessee. As you can see, that's what they looked like before we do anything with it. As you can see, they come apart. They're put together with wood pegs, so it makes it easy to take apart. So what we're going to do today is put together a clock. When you get these things in, they've actually charcoaled them for the flavor of the whiskey. So the backs of them will come with a lot of charcoal on them. What I've found out the easiest way to do is to just take a sharp wood chisel and scrape to remove some of the charcoal. I don't want to affect the actual looks of it much because it's a natural process that they go through. And what I'll do is remove some of it, and then what we'll do is glue the cracks, because they actually have a slight angle to them. So when you remove the charcoal, what we'll do then will be take wood glue and glue through here. And what I've found, instead of wood putty, is I like to use wood glue, and then you take sawdust and sprinkle sawdust down in there, and then you adhere it, and it makes a nice finish. You can stain it if you decide you want to stain it with the wood, with the sawdust, by using it. After that, what we'll do is glue it completely on the face by taking it apart piece by piece. In this case, there's only 3 pieces to this one. They vary, but what we'll do is glue each piece, put it back together, glue each one, both sides, really good. Then after it's glued, I usually put a clamp on it to secure it. You don't want to tighten it too tight because of the actual angle that they have these things cut on. So you just snug it up with your clamp. Now, as far as the surface of it itself, after it sets and it's dry, then I use a sander on it. And once again, I don't want to do too much to the face of it. I don't want to take away the natural look of it, because these barrels tops have been used. So I want to leave it as much of a conversation piece as possible. So I sand just maybe some of the heavier stains to get that effect. On the back of it, you can polyurethane it if you want to remove the charcoal after you sand it down. You can polycoat that if you want to seal it. That way you don't have to worry about getting the soot on your hands while you're working. So I would probably do that, and then sand the face of it. After you do the face of it, what I do, I actually made a jig, because I've made quite a few of these things. I have a jig cut out to where I'll know where to put my numbers. So you've done the face, the front side, you've done the back side, you lay it down on the jig, and this helps save a lot of time as far as knowing where to put your numbers. I like to have my stencil, which actually each one of them, I don't know if you can see that or not, they're actually stenciled Jack Daniel's Distillery. And then after that, you mark your numbers where you want your numbers to go. I get mine from a kit. Actually, the numbers themselves I order separately, but for the clockwork itself and everything, I get this as a kit. It has the long hands and everything on it. Works out real well. And then the numbers, I went online and ordered a dozen of each number, and I found that's the easiest way. They're just wood numbers, which which works out well. Here's some of the numbers. You can put any kind of number on it that you like. In this case, this is I think a 2-inch wood number, which works out well for what I do, because on the finish on it, I stain the front of it. In this case, I'm going to put a red oak stain, and then these numbers you don't have to do anything to those because they look good. All right, so now you're putting your numbers on. You're drilling a hole right in the center to mount the clock. So you drill a hole, and most of these help in some way because they've got an indication. So a little small indication right in the center of the disc. So that way you're not trying to measure it out and all that. But that's a good starting point. They've got it marked for you. So drill your hole for the centerpiece of the clock to go through. Put your numbers on. It's like I said, if you wanted to take the time to make a dial, but if you're just doing one clock, you can probably just measure it out, use a pencil to mark where each one of the numbers go. And then before you put the numbers, it's actually easier to stain it all over. And I use, like I said, a red oak. And then after that, so you stain the top, you've mounted your clock on the inside, you put your numbers all the way around, and then from there, quick and easy, I'm going to try to show you the finished product. If you can see with the lighting or not, I may move the phone so you can see the finished product. But that's it. And what I'll do is bring the phone over now so you can see it. And that is the finished product. This makes a beautiful clock. It's 20. The discs themselves are perfect for this because they're 21 inch in diameter across. They also make great end tables, if you will. I've made several end tables, but if you're looking for something that's a custom piece that no one else is going to have for your man cave, your office, I sold 2 end tables and a matching clock to a gentleman for his office, but it makes a great conversation piece. And then of course, if you're a Jack Daniels fan, that's even sweeter. Well, that's it for today as far as the Roberts Workshop. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you want one of these custom clocks, I do sell them. They're $100. I've got about 15 tops left, or if you're a DIY and want to try this yourself, I'll sell you the top itself. I sell those for like $10. So you know how to get a hold of me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the holiday weekend, and I'll catch you next time at Roberts Workshop.